I was like, you remember how Wayne Brady was and Dave Chappelle? I'm like,
right.
The street nigga? That's like, what? Is Rochet Ragland gonna have to slap a Vic?
I just saw the story on that too. They was interviewing somebody was interviewing Brady, and he was talking about how he was mad for real, and that's why Dave invited him out. He's like, I didn't even know he wrote that joke, and then they, that was a classic one.
All right, y'all ready? Come on. Get this going. Let me do this customary. Rolling with it. Welcome y'all to another episode of the Presidential Executive. This your homie JB the Exec. This is my brethren over here, El Presidente, Rag. What's going on, my guy?
Man, what's going on, brother?
So you got the nice little Bulls.
Oh yeah, you got to always represent
for sure.
Even though we got put out in the first round,
it happens.
Even though these good man, it's been a minute, man. These finals over with.
Finals, oh yeah, we need to talk about
NBA draft happened tonight.
Thursday.
Is it?
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. Tomorrow? No, it's.
But by the time you see this,
it'll be already out. Okay.
It'll be already done. But it is this Thursday. But before y'all do anything, we get into this video. Go ahead and like this video right now. Go ahead and subscribe to the ThePrezEx TV on YouTube. Go ahead and do all those things. Do a comment. You know what I'm saying? We seeing people shouting out, DMing, sharing the video, doing all that stuff. Appreciate that. Keep it going,
man. Everybody who helps the algorithm out, we appreciate you guys. Cause how close are we to 27 now?
We about a G away.
Okay.
About a G away. I think we over 26 now at this point.
Hey, like I said, we probably gonna make that 27 for the end of season 2
for sure. That's the goal, and this may take us over the hump right here with our guy here. We got Todd King. I don't want to say back, but I don't even want to get into what we're doing again. You don't know, but we know.
Right.
So, we got our guy here, Todd King. What's going on, my guy?
What's up, man?
What it do? I want to get into. We're going to get into who he is and all this stuff, but
like we said, he's not invited to the barbecue. He is.
He is the barbecue.
He is the barbecue. Like literally, too, though. Because he mean on that grill, too, though.
He mean on the grill?
What they don't know. Oh, man.
Okay, well,
I can throw that, and he let me take a plate, too.
We're going to have to do some sampling. So, but we're going to get into who this guy is and all this stuff, but I do want to get into a few kind of maybe quickie or rundown little things real quick. One of them is, I had a post. You know what I'm saying? I had a post. You know what I mean? It was just a little rant. I don't know where. I do know where it
looked like you was blogging.
It did look like
because I had just got off work, right? So like you know when I get off work, I have just enough time. So I'm in the throne room. So I was like, let me go on post real quick. Mm-hmm. So I'm posting. Then I see like I ain't even. I read like the first part of it. I'm like, man, this man blogging. I gotta hurry up and hit the shower so we can get over here and do this. But
small.
Yeah, so you said small rant, but like you were blogging. So explain to the people what you was going in on KD about.
KD, like I think we all basketball buffs in here, even with Todd, just talking off camera and stuff like that.
He's a Bulls fan.
He knows his
I'm a KD fan too.
And a KD fan. I'm a KD fan too, you know what I'm saying? Contrary to the post, that you might see that, but the post was about Charles Barkley came out with a few days ago.
Right. Well, no, it's actually been
about a week ago.
Yeah, it's been longer than that. I mean, he keeps repeating the same, but it's been a while.
He was talking about that when Brooklyn got eliminated.
Right.
So it's been a minute.
So Charles Barkley came out and basically was like that. He actually said this a few weeks ago when they were actually doing the conference finals in the East.
He brought it up again.
On the show with Kenny and EJ and Shaq and them, just that KD wasn't the bus driver in Golden State, and that he in order to get the respect of those in line of the greats like MJ, Kobe, LeBron, that he would need to be the bus driver of a team. Okay, and my post was basically saying that was true. I was like, I don't believe KD was the bus driver of Golden State simply because I think I did the analogy too to where like you ain't a father just because you just give money and you do all this stuff and you send stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? You a father because you spend time, you do all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
In order to be a father. A dad can just send money and, provide you a good lifestyle. Okay. So I was like, but KD, what he did in Golden State, in my opinion, was just hoop. He didn't have to worry about the dirty work. He didn't have to worry about being a leader in the locker room. He didn't have to worry about being a leader on the court. All he had to do is just be KD, which is one of the top 5 talents ever to play the game. And so, to me, if you're a bus driver,
you think he's top 5 ever? Kevin
talent.
Okay.
Talent-wise. Now, not ever.
Oh, for sure.
As far as his talent, 7 feet, what he can do, talent. I say top 5 talent.
I agree. Talent-wise,
but
yes.
I was like, in order to be the bus driver, you need to be able to multitask. You know what I'm saying? Like MJ. To me, at this point, you can't change the definition of a bus driver. A bus driver is MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, who else I may be missing. People in those veins, in my view. But I want to get y'all view on it too.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I didn't think he was a bus driver because all he did was pretty much just be great on the court. He didn't have to muck it up, get in nobody's face in the locker room or nothing. And actually, when that happened with him and Draymond, you saw that's when he fell off and couldn't really gather back the pieces. You know what I'm saying? So
tell me what Draymond called him the B word.
When he called him a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Quote unquote. That's what he
called him.
Trigger
fingers turn to Twitter fingers.
Right. Yeah. So for me, my definition of a bus driver is not only leading the team and scoring and rebounding and all this stuff. It's actually, you know what I'm saying, being in there, dealing with the stuff on the court, off the court, the locker room and stuff like that. Like people feared MJ, right? Mm-hmm. People feared him. They wanted to be great at their job because if they didn't, they knew MJ was gonna get up in them. You know what I'm saying? Or LeBron, he didn't necessarily do it that way, but he wasn't gonna pass you the ball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about as far as like practicing off the court, they feared MJ.
Right.
They definitely feared KD on the court.
The opponent did.
For sure. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the opponent did. I'm talking about the team.
I agree.
Right.
With you.
So to me, he had it set up to where he was a leader already. Draymond was a leader. Pretty much he was just there to hoop and get all the spoils that came with it. Okay. Rings, MVPs or whatnot. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much I agree. I think Chuck kind of came at it kind of hard to where it sounded kind of harsh. But at the end of the day, I thought he was telling the truth. I thought he was like, look, he need to be a bus driver if he wants to be in the same vein as really MJ. I mean, at this point, probably Steph at this point, the way he went on this last run.
I'll say, to me, this is the first year Steph was the bus driver. I don't even think he was the bus driver of that first team that won without KD.
Team?
No.
You don't think he was the bus driver then?
No. That series turned when they put
Iggy
AI in there to get on, and that was more of a team. Like Clay was good that series. A lot of people don't remember. They had Bogut. What was the guy's name they traded? Harrison Barnes.
Harrison Barnes.
And I mean, he wasn't great, but I mean, he was putting up numbers. I think that was more because their slogan still, even then and now, is strengthen up, which he got mad at Triple J for, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that maybe if you want to. I don't know.
Clay,
But I think this was the first time that Steph was like, okay, this is my team. I'm gonna put you on my back now. I don't think he did that. I'm not saying he wasn't the best player on the team at 15 or whatever the year was. He was for sure.
Yeah.
But even if you look at that series and you look at the one that they lost when they were up 3-1, Steph wasn't nowhere to be found.
Right.
Especially in them 3 games they lost at the end.
I agree.
And they went after KD. Now, he did come along, but they called him right after the game.
Right.
Draymond called him from the parking lot. That's the story.
Right. That's what they say.
And then they immediately flew out to New York or wherever it was. I can't remember what they called it.
No, what they call it?
I can't remember what they called
it. Because
they
had the Hamptons. Yeah, right. The Hamptons 5.
And we see KD was playing with Russell Westbrook for a long time. And people, granted, they were up 3-1 on Golden State.
Right.
Golden State lost their 3-1 lead to Cleveland because that was a 73-win team that lost. Because a lot of the old Bulls were wearing things that said, it's 72, it don't mean a thing without the ring. They brought them shirts back out.
Yeah, and they had the one where Mike and Scott was like sitting on the bench laughs like, they won 73 games, they better than us. And then up under said, but they didn't win the championship though.
Right.
The context of that, now, I'm just asking a question. Both of y'all can answer this. Now, you don't think Draymond getting suspended in that whole series?
Well, it turned it, but here's what's interesting. Thing. Here's what's interesting. Mm-hmm. He was suspended for, they said, like kicking and doing stuff like that. Yeah. But the real thing that set LeBron off, and let's not act like he ain't got no pulls, he called him a bitch too. He called him the B word too, just like he eventually called KD. And LeBron,
in the press conference.
He was.
And then
LeBron lost his mind over that.
And was like, well, I mean, you know, if I was Adam Silver, then I don't see how you can make a mockery of the game, but you know he's not going to do anything, and so that's just the way the league is. And then the very like it wasn't even 24 hours later,
they suspended him.
Yep. They suspended him. Yep. But the other thing
that turned the series.
Though, you got to remember the other thing people forget though. Clay had the game of his life, the game that Draymond was out.
He did, but they lost.
But what's the name got hurt?
Bogut.
Andrew Bogut got hurt.
Bogut. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't remember
the
way
that's one of the things
the way Cleveland beat them is then when Andrew Bogut got hurt, you had nobody to guard Kevin Love. You had nobody to guard Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Like so so basically it's like y'all shoot, I'm catching everything that come off the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas before, you not doing it, you ain't getting around Big Bogut. And ain't nobody coming in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was an all defense. People forget, like, Bogut was an all
he was a solid player.
Defensive NBA guy. Like that was
he was number one pick.
Right. Yeah. But his big draw was not so much his offensive potential, was his defense,
toughness, rebounding. Right.
But when he got hurt,
it was him
that hurt that team. And you had no Draymond too.
Exactly. Yeah. So then that turned the whole series around as well.
And Looney was a rookie that year, I believe. Who played excellent for them this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Or it might have been KD's first year he was a rookie. I can't remember. But people, remember in games 5 and 6, both Kyrie and Bron put up 40 each. Both of them.
So the question is, do you think he was a bus driver on those Golden State teams?
Yes.
Do you think he was a bus driver on those teams when he was with Golden State?
So I'm gonna put a caveat on it. You said off the court too.
Yeah, to me, a bus driver is both.
In that sense of like galvanizing everybody, being the voice,
right?
No, but in the sense of
if we're talking about that though, then Draymond is not Steph.
Right, exactly. Like Draymond has always been.
Yeah, that's not Steph either.
But like in the sense of like they knew when he went there immediately, like we don't have to worry about who taking the last shot.
Yeah. Plus, you got to remember how much pressure came on KD when he decided to do that. It was win or you fail.
Right.
And so that's a lot of pressure too.
A lot of guys don't do because his first year going, like you remember when Shaq went to Miami, they didn't win the first year.
Right.
It was the second year.
And
Bron
what did
went
he
to
do?
Miami. They didn't win the first year.
No.
They won the second year.
And what did KD
Bron
do?
went to LA. They didn't win the first year.
Right.
They won in the bubble.
In the pandemic.
KD goes to Golden State his first year going. They get to his point, you know what I'm saying? But now again to your point, like, are you that guy where everybody's looking at you like you're that guy? Like, no. But when he comes, he's taking the last shot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna let him. He's clearly the best offensive player. Period.
Right. But then defensive player on that team.
Right.
Well, Draymond and him.
Yeah.
No, actually, Draymond. I mean, he was better than Draymond defensively.
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he's underrated defensively, and he was taking Bron.
He was good. I wouldn't say he was better than Draymond.
What did he do in both game threes? Also, y'all remember? He hit the shot that put him away.
Yeah,
but they swept him one year and beat him the other year in 5.
Draymond won the Defensive Player of the Year. And then 17, his first year, KD's first year.
Right.
So I think KD was good. Like he was good defensive. He actually should have been on the all defensive team, which I don't think he was.
Right.
But okay. So but that was the basis of really my post, which I think we had a whole lot. Me and Veli was going back and forth for a while.
I get your point though.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Which my thing is, I think all this puts to rest if he wins in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think he wanted to get a chip though to make sure he didn't end his career with that one. So people can talk about whatever, but you have to remember too.
Because like the way they do Charles Barkley now.
Right. But KD led that team in points, steals, rebounds, blocks, everything. He led them in every category. So
the only one I don't think he led him in assists.
Well, he might not have led him in assists,
but yeah, like steals.
He might have. We might have looked that up. He might have.
I don't think it was assists. But steals, blocks.
I'm talking about just in the postseason.
In the postseason.
Not in the postseason. Yeah,
I'm talking about in the postseason. Oh no, I'm talking about in the postseason. Yeah.
But
because I thought I saw that somewhere. So, and when you was talking about him leaving with the stuff with Draymond, I think that played a big part. But I also think Golden State's mismanagement of his health played a big part because they wanted him back out on that floor, and he went back out there and he tore his Achilles. You got to remember that he wasn't fully healthy.
Right.
His knee was messed up. I think he went out there too early.
Because that's my
no, and I don't think if him and Clay hurt,
they beat Toronto.
Gets that.
Yeah.
I don't think Toronto gets that, and nobody's talking about Kawhi like he's this great.
Right. Yeah. And then they three-peat. They were the three-peat.
Nobody's talking about 57 game Kawhi like he's the greatest player to ever. He is for 57 games.
Yeah.
Now after season 57 games, Kawhi the GOAT.
Kawhi's good, man, but I don't think he's.
If the season is just 57 games, and you know what though, I feel like
he's great though.
If the season did go to like 57 games, like Kawhi would find a way to only play like 37.
He's great, but he's like AD. Availability makes you great too, though.
Best ability.
You got to be available.
And Kawhi, I love Kawhi, but it's just like it's frustrating because it's like the game you want to go see him play, he's on load management,
and that's. We can talk about the real GOAT. He didn't load manage ever. At all. Hit 80 games about 7-8 years.
It's undisputed on here as far as the whole MJ thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's anything with that. But that was my riff in talking about with KD, which, you know, I'm a KD fan too. But I just look at it as if you're a for real bus driver, if you look at the history of the game or even team sports, what quote unquote bus driver leaves a team and they're back in contention less than 3 years later? You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying.
With, you know what I mean? Like, but KD, he's better than Steph.
Barkley kind of did that too, though.
Yeah.
With who?
Okay, so he left Phoenix? Philly, right?
He left Philly.
He left Phoenix.
And went to Phoenix.
But they didn't have, they had KJ.
And so, right.
I would say more when he went to Houston.
But I'm talking about with Philly, though.
Yeah, but then Philly, like within 4 years, they like went Iverson's rookie year, they made the playoffs.
No, but they weren't in contention, though.
I don't mean contention for a title, but they wasn't contention for a title.
Contention for a
when
title.
they had Barkley. They was barely in the playoffs when they had Barkley.
Right,
so right. But they get AI and they do the same thing.
The East was loaded though back then.
Yeah,
it's flipped.
But I just think the irony of that is that like Barkley was somebody who demanded out of where he was at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then his complaint was, I don't have nobody. So you go somewhere where you got some guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You're immediately in the finals. And then, like, for the next 3 or 4 years, y'all are in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah. Like, y'all was a contender.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so, for
him, MJ, he would have won it.
Yeah, that was my favorite Bulls Finals, by the way, that Phoenix series.
Yeah.
That was a good series. Barkley played great, man.
Crazy I just think it's weird for Chuck to be the one talking about people leaving teams, and he did it twice.
Yeah, he did.
Because then when he got sick of Phoenix, he went to Houston.
With Elijah Wan.
Now it's like I'm trying to win a ring. Yeah. And it was him, Elijah Wan, and Drexler, and they didn't win. And he recruited Scotty, and then...
Well, they were past their prime.
Yeah.
Though. It's a little bit different than how these guys are doing.
That argument with Charles, I agree with, as far as the leaving teams part.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as what he talking about with this whole bus driver thing, I give him his props on that.
And one last thing I'll say too, KD is soft off the court. The man's too sensitive to what people say.
Very sensitive.
Yeah, like I said, the Twitter fingers be real. The ghost burner accounts on Twitter is like...
That dude shouldn't even respond to people. It's funny, he calls himself KD the God or something like that. Or I've heard, I know he's KD Trey or whatever his handle is. KD Trey or something like that, but he calls himself a god all the time. God don't answer to random folks on Twitter.
We gave an award out to KD in season 1. We named an award in season 1 after KD because of his Twitter stuff.
Oh, okay.
And the hair too. We had two.
Right. Yeah, we had one about the hair as well as the stuff you don't do when you're on the gram.
Now another thing I want to get real quick. This may be an in and out thing. It's been a running thing over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I just want to ask y'all the question. Who is overall, period, more talented? Michael Jackson or Chris Brown? And now, let me give a camera. Let me look in the camera right now and talk to my boy, Mo Kicks and Bruce Lee. I was on his post, actually, today. He was going back and forth on that because he's a huge Michael Jackson fan, which I am, too. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. But... the question that I saw was who's more talented, and it didn't put music in there, right? Mm-hmm. It just said more talented as far as more gifts. You know what I'm saying? I put it in the vein, and I said, if you're talking about just talent, just aside from music and dancing, I'm like, dang, Chris Brown might got it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, what else does he have a talent in?
He paints.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He acts. He produces.
The acting thing, like
you see what's that movie he did with T.I. and them? He was cold.
Takers, right? Yeah, okay, but nah.
And the other movie too.
The parkour scene was his acting wasn't it. The scene where he was running from old boy, jumping through the window. No, man, his acting wasn't it. He was the worst actor in the movie.
But dog, you talking? No, he was
keep in mind, he was in the movie with
T.I.
No, T.I. was T.I.
Vic,
T.I. was playing himself.
No, bro.
That wasn't even his acting. He wasn't even acting.
No, Chris Brown did great in the parts that I've seen him in the movie. In that movie.
What you mean? What you mean? You my brother? What you mean? You my brother?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was in it. That was like that was the movie with a bunch of folks.
Michael Jackson.
Idris Elba was in that joint. Yeah.
Michael Jackson did a voice of a guy on The Simpsons where I don't know if you remember where somebody went to the insane asylum. And it was this dude who said he was supposed to be Michael Jackson or whatever.
Okay.
But he didn't look nothing like Michael Jackson, but he could sing like him. It was damn. But Michael Jackson actually did the voice of, you know what I'm saying, like that. Like a lot of people don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Is actually based on like that is like a cartoon version, and they were actually going to get him to do the voice. But Sonic the Hedgehog, the original Sega thing, was actually supposed to be like a cartoon thing. It was based on Michael Jackson. That's why he got the flamboyant.
I didn't know
red
that.
shoes and everything.
Y'all
forget Michael Jackson was in The Wiz.
Well, I didn't forget that.
And then Thriller, even though it wasn't a movie like that, was freaking cinematic master. You had never seen a video
breaking
like that.
ground,
right? The video,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But like even in the acting in it, like all of his videos and stuff, telling stories like from Annie, Are You Okay? Bad. I mean, Smooth Criminal. Bad. Like they, it was almost like little movies. Oh, the joint with Eddie Murphy in it.
Yeah.
Was it Remember the Time?
But we're not gonna say he was acting
what
I'm
saying. What I'm saying is it was very cinematic, and he was behind the direction of that.
But that was a different time. If he was around now, and I know Prince was in Purple Rain,
like music and
casting them roles because of who he is.
So is Chris Brown.
No, Chris actually played roles like I said, if I had to say who was a better actor, I say Chris Brown.
Well, that's because we don't really have anything to go off of.
We don't have a lot to go off on.
Yeah, I mean, because he's not had to carry a movie. So you're saying like, oh, he acted good, like when really he was. When you count up his screen time, he was in 6 minutes and 27 seconds of the movie.
Which one?
The Christmas movie. That movie was about Idris Elba, Regina King.
What about Takers?
Putting baby oil on her husband for cheating on her.
Oh, that was the best part.
Right,
exactly.
Escalade
in the river or whatever.
Lauren London and her dude.
Right?
Shout out to Lauren London.
Who was the guy in it? Was it who was the guy that was in the movie too? Was it the guy from The Best Man?
Which one?
The guy that was dating the little sister or whatever.
Oh, that was dating Lauren London?
I think. What was his name?
I know
he was in Best Man.
I don't know the name. I don't know his name though. But yeah, I know
can't think of
But yeah, it was about the ensemble. It wasn't. Oh my God!
Was it Omar Epps?
He played on The Boys. Have you watched The Boys on Amazon?
No.
Oh, dude, you losing.
Y'all
gotta watch the book, man. Y'all, that's another TV show, Amazon Prime. The Boys, y'all need to check it out. But Laz Alonso,
okay,
that's the one who was married to Regina King.
And he the one
got the baby oil in the butt whipping in the shower, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like talent wise.
Overall,
I mean, now again,
giftings. Like I think Chris Brown has more gifts.
Ooh.
No. You see, you weren't here in season 1. Like I ain't on MJ nuts like that.
Okay.
Like I'm did like no. This is what I'm saying. I don't.
You could tell his heart was in. We were going back and forth. He was like, "Hey, bro,
I got a bottle of yak for somebody who can sit up verbatim any Michael Jackson song and like verbally sing every lyric. Because most of the time we don't know. We'll be singing it with we'll start because we don't know what he's saying. I don't even know if he knew what he was saying.
Yeah, right.
He made it sound good, but like, and I don't bring no old Jackson 5 stuff up.
It was the
I'm talking about from Off the Wall on to when he put up.
Right.
Nobody knows what Michael Jackson, like, who know the whole lyrics for Smooth Criminal?
No.
Or Bad. Or Thriller. Or any, pick one.
Yeah.
We don't know what he was saying.
It's a lot of guys now too.
So right. So I'm not on MJ like that.
Really?
But I recognize like, man, his dancing, his choreography, what he did for other people, him as a writer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also a producer. Like it's a lot of stuff he had his hands in. You know what I'm saying?
Watch yourself.
Too soon?
And no. But this is the thing. I won't deny that. I think he is the GOAT, the greatest entertainer, singer, music, all that conglomerate together. But we're talking about overall gifts. Just like Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever, right?
Right.
But
not necessarily the greatest athlete business, but basketball wise.
Deion Sanders probably a more gifted person.
Yeah, him and Bo
You
Jackson.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying like Chris Brown, I think, has more gifts than Michael. Not saying he's better at him in music and dance. Forget all that. But I'm talking about other.
You got more avenues.
Y'all must have forgot he was in Stomp the Yard.
Who, Chris Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, what about it?
The best thing about him in that movie was him sliding across the floor. That's it, and then getting shot. That's it. That's the best part he had in the movie.
Well, but there's a lot of guys right now that are.
What's the other movie he got shot in? Takers. That's the best part of him jumping through the windows and him getting shot.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
It's a lot of guys though.
Nobody got to act hard to get shot. All you got to do is get hit. I promise you're gonna have the same reaction that he had.
It's a lot of guys right now though that are singers, rappers, and actors,
right,
and doing well in both.
And I think if MJ was in this time though, like you don't think he would have been in more movies and stuff like that?
Of course, but we don't know how well.
I mean, you got to remember, like this man, they was performing and he was doing the voice on the cartoon. Y'all don't remember that old Jackson 5 cartoon? I remember. He was doing the voice. So this man was performing,
but I also
voice acting. Come on, man.
I remember Beyonce acting too.
No. And again, so because she can act, she was the worst part of Austin Powers 3. She was the worst part of Dreamgirls.
Bruh.
Which Eddie Murphy should have got an Oscar in. The crazy movie with the crazy white girl that was.
She was the worst part of her. Obsessed.
Yeah.
The girl from Final Destination was better than Beyonce.
Yeah, she was. She was crazy.
Because she was in Final Destination 1 and 2.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying like, MJ is the GOAT, period. I'm not saying
Beyonce was bad in The Lion King as a voice.
Oh, come on, bro.
You saw that. You got kids.
I ain't even seen it.
So
you got kids.
You say she can't even voice it.
No.
Is that
who
we talking about?
Hey, you see he ain't got no mic. That's why he said that.
Who said who?
I had the Beehive finna come get him. This finna be like Candyman. Like that fat head
he ain't not look.
Bees gonna come out and get crime.
Look, my thing is with this whole thing is, and actually Marcus put this on one of his posts. And I think I said he got himself on this post. He was like, so you telling me since Lauryn Hill, she can sing, she can rap, and this, she better than Beyonce? I was like, no, she's more talented than Beyonce. She has more gifts, elite gifts than Beyonce.
Well, she might be better. She just ain't as popular.
That's what I'm saying. That's my only thing. I'm not saying Chris Brown is better. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm not either.
Chris Brown has more elite gifts. You know, he's an athlete. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's a natural athlete.
Okay.
He paints. He's a clothing designer. You know what I'm saying? Yep. He produces. Right. He does all this other stuff to where Michael was just.
Man, come on, man. Michael had everybody wearing them goofy jackets and that.
But Mike was the GOAT at what he did, though.
Niggas walking around.
So is it better to be the best at something
school on the first day with one glove on looking crazy?
Right.
See, that's tough.
Reason.
Yeah.
That's talent.
Yeah.
Would you rather be Michael Jordan or Deion Sanders? You really can't lose either way.
Yeah, but most
personally, I say Deion. Give me Deion. Because Deion got personality.
Yeah.
Deion could go in. To me, he can flow in executive roles and you know what I'm saying.
He was good on TV too.
Yes, I was hard on my teammates, but I never asked them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. Yeah. Anybody who got a problem with the way I played, the way I led, that's because they never won nothing. So if you want to be that way,
then be that way.
Then be that way.
Favorite part, man.
Stop recording. Take camera off. Yeah. You can see who starting to cry right now.
So you're saying. Y'all get what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
I'm not
but like when you start naming them off, though, I'm like, okay, I give you the painting thing, but like the acting thing, like, come on, bro, like, come on.
Well, Mike never really acted.
We don't have. So. From the Wiz, don't tell me the Wiz was like his shining moment.
I'm just saying, okay, and Chris Brown has some whack acting roles too. Go sit up and just watch his clips and keep a straight face. You can't. Now in the movie,
I can't.
No, in the midst of the movie, I just mean just the clip of him doing, like, you could take a clip of Denzel or even Will Smith or somebody like Will Smith on Pursuit of Happiness, right? When he's talking to his son,
comparing
just
Chris
that clip.
Brown to Will
he's
Smith.
He's an actor. He's talented.
No. It's levels to this. Don't go.
All right, you know what? Okay. Fine. I won't compare to that.
But Will Smith is music.
I'll take a step below. Take Morris Chestnut.
Okay.
in freaking Boys in the Hood when he was talking about wanting to go to college.
Or, here we go.
You know what I'm saying? Or him go right. You got the shirt on. Or him when he was talking to Tay Diggs and the Best Man, like when he was like about.
When he was mad about.
You know what I'm saying? Like take that any. Now keep in mind, so you wouldn't put Morris Chestnut on the same level of a Will Smith or even a Lawrence Fishburne or Denzel, Wesley Snipes. And I mean like New Jack City Wesley, like I ain't talking about, Passenger 57 Wesley and
always spit on
Demolition Man Wesley. I mean like when he was acting Wesley.
Could Michael Jackson play Chris Brown roles in Tape?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. I don't mean to jump it through the windows.
He on that yak, bro. He on that yak. You on that yak.
Stop it.
You
Stop it.
Come on.
So you don't mean to tell me you're probably right. So you don't mean to tell me Michael Jackson couldn't have slid across the floor?
I could do that.
Michael Jackson couldn't have slid across the floor like in Stomp the Yard.
Could Michael Jackson even pull off being a bank robber?
No.
Could he pull off being a thug? Come on, dog.
No, I
don't give me that, man.
They just would have given him a different case. And he wasn't even a thug. Oh, come on, man.
He wasn't a thug in Takers?
No.
What was he then?
Hey, he was good in the Christmas movie you talked about. I did like that's a good movie.
It was 6 minutes.
He blended.
But he didn't stand out like in a negative way. Is what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that he didn't fit the ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
But like if
I'm not saying he's Will Smith.
I'm submitting this as like this is why you should respect me as an actor. Now his music stands alone. His dance and choreography stands alone. Never seen his paintings. I'm gonna check him out. If it does, it'll stand alone. But like now, when you take your acting reel, I mean, now keep in mind, like everybody else in that movie, with the exception of T.I.
Yeah.
But I'll give you this though. T.I. and Ant-Man.
He was pretty good.
Not bad in Ant-Man.
Nah, he was alright.
And you not gonna give Chris
for 6 minutes.
What I'm saying is so like again, you got things where you're better in this, you're not so good in that.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. But like when I think of that Christmas movie, I think Idris Elba. I think of LeBron's daddy. I think of Delroy Lindo. You know what I'm saying?
They were the main
right. Okay,
actors.
I think of Loretta Devine. I think of Regina. You know, y'all know, man. You know all the Regina.
So when you look at the Christmas movie, you just like.
I think of Lauren London.
No. You think Chris Brown did a bad job?
I didn't say that, but I think of Columbus Short before I think of.
They right there.
I think it's a bad comparison, man, because you're gonna have to bring somebody else that's done some acting too. So maybe somebody like Tyrese or Ice Cube or. Even LL.
So exactly my point. So somebody when you rank him, when you put Chris Brown amongst the entertainer actors, and LL has surprisingly had some stuff with depth.
Yeah.
Will Smith, who was a rapper now he's just all actor.
Ice Cube,
who has surprisingly had some depth. Tyrese, who surprisingly has some depth. Jamie Foxx.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like we can go on. It's a lot of entertainers.
50.
Who heck yeah, 50.
So
Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
So like Chris Brown is at the bottom.
No, we're not doing it. We're doing Michael Jackson. His discography from when he was alive
kills Chris Brown's
for sure.
What? His acting. We're talking about acting.
Oh, you said discography. That's music.
No,
filmography.
We're talking about acting though. Yeah,
filmography. Okay. Mike ain't got nothing, so he gonna beat him.
No, he got the Wiz. He got the Wiz.
That don't count, man. Come on.
No, it counts. He counts for him.
He was just saying that's his movie. I would put Thriller up there before I put the Wiz up there, man. Let me see. I'll say this. I agree with you. I think Chris Brown obviously is a better actor, but we don't know for MJ. But I do agree, MJ ain't gonna be out there and be no thug. He ain't gonna have no depth to his role. He gonna be one of them guys got to play himself.
Though is he couldn't pull it off.
No, I agree.
Right,
I agree.
He's not dead. Even if he got cast,
right,
you wouldn't believe it.
But what director would cast him like that?
Okay,
or
now
cast
again,
him
we're talking, but I would reason with you this: like, name one movie that Chris Brown is in, and you take. I will take Thriller. I'll take Smooth Criminal.
Is Thriller a movie?
Hold up. Let me finish.
Long video.
I'll take Thriller. I'll take Smooth Criminal, and I'll take Bad. Those are freaking like cinematic. No. I'm just saying, like, name one.
Billie Jean.
Chris Brown. Oh yeah, I forgot about Billie Jean.
Don't forget about Billie Jean now.
Like, name one song video that he got out where you're watching it and you're captivated by the video. Like, this man is telling me a story. It's just a video. It's just
you captivated by the video, not by his performance.
No, I'm saying, but all of that's a part of it.
No,
like you can't tell me when you come on, man. You go back, but all of y'all was wearing a goofy glove and a goofy jacket.
You believe he was actually bad when he was saying, I'm bad with the nose, with the light skin, with the jerry curl. You believe he was actually bad?
When you first
man, stop it.
You laughed.
Stop it. I'm trying to look up Chris Brown's movie history. Now we going.
No, I mean he's been in a lot of stuff, but that's the reason why you got to look it up because it's not memorable.
He was in Stumper Yard, This Christmas, Takers, Think Like a Man.
Nothing more than 6 minutes.
He couldn't have been in Think Like a Man much at all.
And he was horrible in Think Like a Man.
Honestly, I don't even remember him Think Like a Man.
Because who was he talking to in Think Like a Man? And who do I love? Who is my boo? Who is my boo of boos?
Stop it.
Who can get it with the lights on twice on Sunday?
And Think Like a Man?
No, but no, well, you got to know.
Union.
No, but you got to know who my boo is. She's been my boo forever.
Was she in Think Like a Man?
She was.
Man, you know I'm.
And she was also in Eve's Back.
Megan
And she
was Megan Good.
Megan, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he, you know.
She was in Waist Deep.
And the crazy part about that is my wife says she's a horrible actor.
Who, Megan Good?
She said Megan is on the low or the totem pole. And so
I didn't say nothing about her acting.
But I'm just saying.
Do you think that's why I love Megan Good?
No, Chris Brown, he has more gifts, I say, than elite gifts than Michael Jackson.
He has more acting talent.
I think he has more acting talent. I think he just does. I think he's just more natural than other stuff. Too.
I think so. Like, first of all, let's go back because what we're not gonna do is disrespect the greatest woman.
Ain't nobody disrespecting Mike.
No, but I feel like she's made herself a one trick pony. So like we've never seen her Megan Good. Like she's always you know what I'm saying? Like kind of playing that girl type thing. Like we haven't seen her play like the drug addict friend or the.
She was good in Waist Deep.
You know, I'm saying, but she's essentially plays.
I don't agree with my wife when she says that. Honestly, I just think she's solid. I think she's okay.
She plays the same character though.
Right.
She does.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just in a different situation.
Typecast.
Right. It's kind of like what my criticism about Will was. It's like essentially, with the exception of maybe like 4 or 5 movies,
right?
He's playing the Fresh Prince as a cop, the Fresh Prince as killing aliens, the Fresh Prince going back to the Wild West and fighting cowboy. Like, and so Megan is like the pretty girl with Tyrese.
Okay.
The pretty girl dating the bald dude from, you know, like, but to your point, even with because he ain't never been in more than 6 minutes of any movie he's been in.
6 minutes.
No, but Megan Good was like 35 when that movie came out. What are we talking about?
I'm saying though, the rain.
In the rain.
Like Keke Palmer straight too though.
Yeah, she went.
And actually,
look at you, man.
True Jackson.
Yeah, right.
Keke Palmer playing Precious or something.
No, because Keke Palmer was in that movie. Did you see that movie?
Same thing with Denzel Washington.
What's that movie? The stripper movie.
That's what I say too. Yeah, about Denzel. Yeah,
it just came out with J-Lo. It came out a couple years ago. Hustlers.
Yep.
No, I ain't seen that.
Oh, because Keke Palmer was in Hustlers.
Yeah, I ain't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Y'all favorite.
The stripper.
Yeah, Lizzo was in Hustlers too. Y'all favorite.
That's your favorite. That's your type.
No. But so I will give y'all that, even though it's only 6 minutes per movie. Chris Brown is a better actor than MJ. I can play basketball better than Paco. I would not necessarily say I'm talented though, because what are you comparing it to? To people who actually hoop all the time, or to two people who went to Backyard University?
Well, you compare it to the same person. Right.
That's kind of like a bait post though, because you're gonna get a lot of people coming out saying, well, MJ got more talent in his dancing than Chris Brown got in his whole life.
If they put music and they put dancing out there, it's MJ all day.
Right.
It's just like saying.
But I think you can be so Chris talented Brown, here that even though you're bringing all it still don't add up to that.
But see, you gotta look at it this way: Chris Brown musically to MJ is Kobe to MJ in basketball.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure. He's like imitating.
Chris Brown clearly learned from
Michael.
He's
imitating.
I would say that, but I think that Kobe's resume kind of.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. Close. I'm just talking about him imitation.
Right,
I'm talking about the imitation, not how well they did
Chris
it.
Brown's resume does not stack up musically to
no.
Mike's.
And MJ, and the other thing is MJ and Kobe had a relationship.
Right.
Like they was cool. Like the little brother.
Mike and Kobe had a relationship.
Right.
Now, I just want to say this, then I'll be done with it. Now, this is a little controversial maybe here, but Michael's probably two best albums, Off the Wall and Thriller, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could we say that those are Michael's records, but those are pretty much Quincy Jones too? He's as equally a partner in those records.
Maybe,
as far as,
but I will say this: what Jay-Z? You remember when Jay-Z on the song "Kingdom Come," where because he retired after Black Album. Remember when he said, "You say you made Jay-Z, will make another Jay-Z."
Make another one, yeah.
I'm not shitting on Quincy Jones, but like
he ain't had no other mic.
That's your one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, no. I mean, what I'm saying, but you had. It's kind of like the Phil Jackson thing, right?
Yeah.
They always say like, okay, well, you had 3 of the greatest players to ever play. You know, the top 2 at that position.
Yeah.
You know, in the shooting guard with Mike and Kobe. Then you had Shaq, but then you also had 2 of the greatest duos ever with Mike and Scottie and Kobe and Shaq. You know, so like they say like Popovich is actually a better coach per se because
is he though?
Well, I mean the consistency of, and then you had a lot of moving parts.
Well, but look
with their first championship, you had a very young Tim Duncan. Yeah. It wasn't the greatest power forward ever, Tim Duncan. You had a second year Tim Duncan, David Robinson, a past his prime David Robinson, Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, Vinny Del Negro, Will Purdue. Like
Vanderbilt,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like you would say, like I don't see Phil winning with that. You know what I'm saying? And then we ain't even gonna. And then you got to remember, Pop is also the general manager of the Spurs too. Yeah. So like Phil,
I mean, I got respect for. I got a lot of respect for Popovich, but I'm just saying like the Lakers weren't winning till Phil got there.
I mean, I get you. Like
they had Kobe
great at managing egos.
Oh, for sure. Like Rodman. I mean, you know.
I would say like with Quincy, he's a phenomenal, amazing, probably one of the best producers ever. But you need that. You still need that talent.
You got to have the talent.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have the talent,
you need the talent.
Then I can produce all I want to. But like for example, when you look at like a Dre. Yeah, Dre did it with NWA. Dre did it with Snoop. Dre did it with Eminem. Mm-hmm. He had a big hand in 50 Cent.
Yeah,
Game's first album. Yeah. Like was it Michelle A? Yeah, like even Ice Cube with his like. He's got a whole even his bad stuff like The Firm with Nas them. Yeah, but like to people that love Nas and Foxy Brown and them, like that's a classic to them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? True. I would say when you look at Quincy, as amazing as he is, because you could take away Snoop from Dre, right? But you still got all these other people. Yeah, you still got NWA, you still got Eminem, you still got 50 Cent, you still got the Game.
You definitely should. You need the talent,
right? You see what I'm saying? But if you take Mike from Quincy. Like, what other person are we talking about? Quincy Jones?
He would still be Quincy.
You just saying,
but I'm saying,
you just saying Dr. Dre got a stable of talent,
right? And what I'm saying is, so when people say it's like, well, like to the point that you was making, and I'm not shitting on Quincy because, like I said, he did have a big Quincy hand.
I'm a big Snoop fan, but he wasn't the same when he was down with No Limit.
No Limit, yeah,
he just wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? And I love him. His best stuff.
He was Dre. Great value Snoop at No Limit, which was still pretty good.
But he wasn't the same.
He was
Walmart good. Snoop. That what you saying? He was Walmart Snoop.
Yeah. He was a great value
what's
Snoop.
The store here that used to be here? Fred's.
Osco.
Where the dollar? Oh wow.
You remember Osco?
I remember Osco. Drugstore, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Osco drugs.
Fred's the friendly store where the dollar buys more.
Yeah. So okay, but that's all.
I mean, but to your point, I will give y'all. Even though it's a small, he's a much better actor than MJ.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
Okay. You know, I gotta say something though. I'm gonna push back on you. What is Pop gonna do without Tim Duncan? He's always had Tim Duncan. He never won nothing without Tim Duncan. Yeah, he's never won without Tim Duncan. Yeah, he had him his whole career basically.
Yeah, he has.
And Kawhi rolled out because he said Pop was too old fashioned. Now I don't know.
Right. Well, that's just the way they were.
I feel like he could have won with Kawhi had Kawhi.
Oh, for sure.
And I just think it's a matter. But see, now he's probably gonna retire before you really get to see.
Yeah. They should have won back to back. That Ray Allen shot got them right there. Now that might be the reason they came back and played so well, but they should have won back to back right there.
Right.
So
all right.
Point is they need each other.
let's get into this nitty gritty here, man. We've been talking this ball. We've been talking
Shoot, that
a
was
lot
like
of
a
this
whole
stuff.
rundown.
This can be
you can just put that out as a rundown.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna chop it up this content, y'all. Don't know how we do. We gonna chop it up. But let's get into this nitty gritty with our guests here, man. We got them all warmed up. We talking and stuff like this. So Todd, tell us about yourself and let's get into it, my guy.
All right. From Memphis my whole life. Grew up in Raleigh, Hickory Hill, Parkway Village area. Eventually moved out, but I mean, pretty much grew up mostly in that area. Love sports, hip hop. Been married for 16 years.
I saw that. Happy anniversary and congratulations, Shay. Both of y'all, congratulations.
And hold on, real quick. Shout out to Shay, like before. No cussing, baby. I got you.
Look at.
Oh, but at the beginning, you gotta hit her with the favorite movie quote.
Oh, of course, from baby, you my real baby.
So, but also, I thought it was interesting too when we was talking before. You're a stay-at-home dad.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
And have been for 15 years.
Yeah, and so that's very interesting, you know, because, you know, kind of roles are reversed.
Right.
You know, kind of in a sense, you know what I'm saying, as far as in the traditional sense.
Right.
And so being a guy, like, I'm not sure, I don't know you as well, obviously, as Shay, but, you know what I'm saying, would you categorize yourself as an alpha or a beta?
Or alpha.
Or alpha, okay.
Yeah.
So for me, like, you know,
it was tough.
Channeling that energy, which I know Rag is kind of the same, is like, how do you deal with being an alpha male and being a stay-at-home dad?
Well, Shayla makes it easy. That's part of it. You know what I mean? So she helps. I mean, so it would be different if, you know, if it's not per se what she wanted me to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, the backstory on that is, you know, I was working and my son, we got, you know, she was pregnant and he was on the way and I lost a really good job that I had due to no fault of my own. But that was
we're gonna get into it because yeah, you told that story about we gonna
that was around the time of, like, I can't remember exactly, but like right before Obama came in, so probably like 2007, 2008, and if y'all remember, that was a recession type time.
Yep.
So after I lost that job, and at that time, I mean, I was making like $20-something an hour, you know, fantastic benefits, all that. Lost that job, couldn't find anything close to it after that. I mean, we talking minimum wage, maybe a little more. Nothing enough to pay for childcare. And my wife, she's a hairstylist. She was just starting to come into her own, get busy. And she asked me to stay at home. Yeah. You know, she said, well, if you're just going to be able to pay for childcare, again, we learned at that time, for those of you that don't know, you can't pay for one day of childcare. You got to pay for the whole week. Message. We learned that. So, I mean, and so it just kind of worked out to where she asked me to stay at home. I hated it at first. It was rough. I had a lot of rough days. Weeks. I mean,
my thing was it pushback with her? Like,
what you mean?
Like,
did I push back at her?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Like, you know, I want you to say, like, nah, like, I'm not.
I didn't want to do it,
right.
but you know, she's the smarter of the two. So she was like, why
not?
Why do you want to go to work? I mean, you could stay here with our son. Mm-hmm. You gonna give him better, you know, care than anybody else.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, and it worked out better with her too, because her being a hairstylist, she don't work a 9 to 5, right?
Right.
So that opened up her schedule for flexibility to do whatever she needed. Mm-hmm. At the time, both of our parents, moms anyways, were still working. Yeah. So there wasn't a lot of options that we had. So did I want to go work a job making, I don't know, $8 an hour? And at that time, it was part-time. It wasn't even really a lot of full-time. I don't know if y'all remember. If you had a job, you was good. But if you lost a job at that time, it was rough.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't know, right time, wrong place, wrong time, right place, however you want to say it. But it worked out. I mean, so.
And so we talk about Shayla here. Like, if people don't know Shayla, I put a picture up there. You know what I'm saying? So you'll probably see her. She's a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And so
she is.
She's a black woman. Clearly, he's a white male. And so that whole, you know, dynamic, can you speak on just some of your experiences you've had?
Well, that's why I wanted him to, you know, when he was talking about the job.
Okay,
yeah, because you remember.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Get into that a little bit.
Well, I mean, we could be here all day with that, but I mean, we've had a lot of experiences. I've learned and matured from that. It used to really bother me more, just as simple as something going out to eat. and seeing a lot of, people look at you and it's still there today. Like, I mean, we still see it today, but I mean, when we first started dating, it's probably the same, but I just paid more attention to it then. And I think that's part of my maturity is, I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm 42, but when I was 25, I didn't know nearly as much as I did at 30. And then you look back even 5 years, you think of how much, wiser, more mature you are and stuff like that. So when we were dating, you got to remember, we've been married 16 years, but we went together 21. So when we first started dating, I was 20 years old, just turned 21. And she was 17. And so she wasn't quite 18,
Right.
but we were dating.
Still good, though.
Right, and we were dating. And, I mean, we would go places and we would get looks. I remember even one time I went to her school and gave her something. I can't remember. I took her something for Valentine's Day or a birthday or something. And she told me later in the day, like one guy that was like really good friends with her was like, oh, you get down like that? So, I mean, it was just always, little things like that. And just real quick, going back to the job, the place where I worked, it was like I'm not going to lie, my dad worked there. So he worked there for a long time. It was a tobacco place. It's down on Front Street. And it was a good job, but it was a good old boy place. Even the black folks that I met down there, when they got to know me fairly quick, they knew I was a little different. Right. They were like, don't let your girl come down here. And I was like, they threw me off. I was young. I was like, you working here? So, but they were being smart. They were telling me the right thing. So she came down there. I'd been there for maybe a year or so. And, I'd been moving up. I worked on the floor by myself with a $25,000 robot that moved boxes and maybe more than that. Actually, it's probably more than that. It was probably like $1 million robot, if I'm being honest. Wow. But so they gave me a lot of responsibility. They were telling me how good I was doing all this. And, she brought me lunch. They saw it. And suddenly I was a bad employee. I mean, just that quick, like in the blink of an eye. And I was out of there within 3 months. So
basically, once they saw your black girlfriend, I guess at the time,
right,
they like, oh snap! Like,
it completely changed. I was no longer a good worker. I mean, I just recently, right before that happened, they call you in for your year review, and I went in there. Oh, you gonna be able to do anything you want. You can be a supervisor, work, line supervisor, work your way up to shift supervisor, all these different things. And I was like, well, I'm cool where I'm at now, but thanks, because I was making like $21 sitting down watching a robot work.
That's a question with this. I remember the last time we was talking. I don't know if this is the same job that you got fired from or left from. Somebody you was working with.
Same one.
Was saying something about black people or calling us the N-word, a nigga or something like that, and you put a picture up of your lady.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've been up there and we were just talking like we talking about sports. And this was early 2000s, so it was right after Peyton Manning, T. Martin at UT, right? At Tennessee. And, Peyton never got a championship. He might have had an SEC championship, but he never won a national championship. T. Martin came right in after him. They immediately won a national title. And the dude I was sitting over there with, we were just talking about it. He was a big UT fan. I think he had a hat on. He might have had a UT hat on or something like that. And we were just talking. I was like, I'm Memphis. I'm cheer for Tigers or whatever. And we were talking about it. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Peyton was phenomenal. And, it's kind of funny. T come in, win the championship. And he's like, yeah, damn old N-word quarterback. So I just let it roll off. And later that night, he was like, do you got a girl or whatever? And I showed him a picture. And, he went Casper White on me. So, but... I got a lot of stories like that though.
Right.
So
see, I thought about that just looking at to me, I look at everything kind of a domino effect, because then now what happened with your situation, I don't know, he may have talked to the higher ups or something.
Oh, no. It's more to the story.
And stuff like that going on to where they didn't feel comfortable being around you and being them. So we just got to extract you from the whole situation.
Yeah, it was a guy there. He worked line supply, which means he would just go around and provide materials to everybody, if you don't know that, at a factory job. And that's what he was doing. He heard him say it. He was in the back of the room, but he heard him say it. So he went and told. Yeah. And he said, so-and-so, me, heard it. And they called me in there. And they were like, did you hear? They said his name. I think his name was Jeremy. I don't remember his last name. Say it. And I was like, I'm not going to say what I heard. And they said, have you heard that name before? Have you heard that word? I said, I've heard it by just about every worker you got in here.
Right. Wow.
He was promoted in 2 weeks. I forgot to tell y'all that last time.
Word.
He came off the machine and was some type of day supervisor. They took him off my shift, but they put him on another shift and he got promoted.
Right. See, and that's crazy within that. And so it's like, I think maybe the last time I said you're kind of like the perfect kind of private eye. You know what I'm saying? You kind of go take you into enemy's camp and you come tell them, you come back and tell us,
right?
You know, kind of what's the game plan, kind of what's going on.
Well, they were bold, man. They called me in a few weeks after that. I mean, catch up. They called me in a few weeks after that, after Shayla had brought me, or it might have been a few months. I don't remember exactly. She had brought me my lunch or whatever. And I remember the guy that was like the supervisor that was on the kind of like in the evening when we was there, because we worked from 4 to midnight, and he was there. And I got called in a few days later, and like, well, do you remember when we had that incident about Jeremy and all that? And they're like, well, did that word bother you because your girlfriend's won? He said that to my face.
Oh, so not because he didn't say because your girlfriend is black. He said because your girlfriend
is one.
Right.
One of
wow.
Yeah.
So like my thing is, and I want you to touch because I don't know if you remember JB, but he talked about what it was like for him growing up. You know what I'm saying? But like, so you went in, and I'm gonna let you talk about, you know, what it was like growing up. But like, have you had moments in your adult life, you know, from it being a girlfriend to a fiance to a wife to the mother of your children, where like you want to haul off and
absolutely
whoop some ass? And you keep in mind now, you already know, like, you know, I go back, you know, with your family, like that's like, you know, my family, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your wife used to do my daughter's hair all the time. So like that's like, you know, little sister me. You like, you know, you like my real live brother from another mother, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like, how hard is it for you not to haul off and just...
Well, it is, because I mean, I've had not like terrible altercations, but I've had some physical altercations and stuff like that. But again, Shayla, she's the level-headed one. It don't bother her. You know, I mean, it really does. But I think it bothers me more than her. And I'm not saying that like in a bad way. She's more level than me. She really is. And she's more in tune, and she don't let that bother her. Whereas I'm just wanting to go and haul off and, you know, and do whatever. Yeah. But, you know, she's right. I mean, I can't change them. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what I do, I'm not going to change anybody's ignorance, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it's been a lot of instances since we've been together with family. You know, no real friends, because all my friends are black anyways, mostly. So I ain't had no issues with that. But I mean, it was a lot of family issues, a lot of... I remember we'd be at Christmas, and, you know, they didn't want her to come to Christmas. My mom would come and say, you know, grandparents don't want her here. They, you know, they just can't handle it. And, you know, Shayla was like, well, you need to go see your family for... I didn't want to do it, but I would do what she asked me to do. And then I would have multiple family members that don't even live here. They would come out and basically tell on the other family members. And then them other family members would come out and tell on the other ones. And at the time I was a kid, and I was like, they were like my age now at the time, probably like in their 40s. And I was just thinking, even then, I was like, what is wrong with these people? Like, I just never clicked with that. It's amazing that I'm not that way, though, because that's how I was raised. Oddly enough, in Raleigh and Hickory Hill, but that is how I was raised, to a degree, for sure.
So with those kind of experiences, it's like, just for me, I can speak for myself. I'm sure Ragnar probably had similar experiences, but I mean, it's no secret now. I mean, I attend Bellevue for the most part now, kind of swapping between that and hope kind of at the same time. So, but giving, you know, going there, you see a lot of people, well, white people that are very, you know, nice to you, you know, kind of in person, look you in your eye and doing stuff like that. And then on the other side, I think I brought up maybe the last time, we put an ad out for one of my executive mindsets. It was talking about Juwan Howard, and he's smacking this other coach from Wisconsin or whatever. Right. And we put a post out there, and, you know, we getting a lot of nasty comments, you know, mostly from, you know, white people. And you click on their profile, they got the crosses, the Jesus, fully Christian.
In God we trust.
In God we trust.
Maybe a little MAGA.
In my house we will serve the Lord.
Right. They got all that. And so it's just like, dang, you know, it immediately brought to my mind, like, how many people am I seeing like this on a Sunday that, you know,
it's a facade,
that are, you know, shaking my hand and doing this, but behind closed doors, he was a real nice nigger, or saying something, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Of that.
That's very accurate.
You know what I mean? See, you know what I mean? So, and I'm sure you probably heard that from people that didn't think that you were who you are.
Right.
They just like, oh, you know, this is just...
Well, it's very until they know who I am or something like that. If I meet somebody, and I think I told you guys this last time, it's amazing how quick it rears its head. I mean, it's very quick usually. Yeah. And purposely I try to keep it down just to see. And I mean, I'm telling you, I told y'all before, whatever you think it is, it's worse.
It's worse.
Trust me. You, both of y'all, I'm sure, all three of you guys probably have folks that y'all think.
I think it's bad. Like, but for me, and I tell my wife sometimes because she hasn't been privy to a lot of the racism stuff. You know what I'm saying? She kind of, you know, I wouldn't say grew up maybe a little bit greener, like, but she never. She didn't have some of the same experiences.
Meeting some of her friends and stuff like that, like they just be seeing unicorns and rainbows,
right.
Sunflowers and stuff like that. So yeah.
So it's like we don't have the same experiences, right? And so she may take some people for face value that I'm like, babe, like, nah.
She don't see the underlying,
right.
Undertones.
She don't see that, and I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I would. At this point, I'm still in the process, but I'm like, I'd rather go to a more diverse
for sure
church or something like that, just to, I don't want to say even a playing field, but just for my mind's sake, just kind of, you know what I'm saying, be more comfortable in the environment.
For me, it's hard for me to do that because of like my whole life, man. It's like, and I don't know. And you may get offended as a parent if somebody tells you that your son is articulate. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
right. I know
where you're going. You only say that like with black kids. It's like,
I know where you're going with this.
You see what I'm saying? And so like, and I've heard that my whole life. And so for me,
oh, you're smart for a black guy,
right? You know, or not. You know, like I've had people put their arm around me and tell, oh, you got to meet Roche. He's a good one.
Yeah,
a good what?
They don't even realize it's coming out.
You see what I'm saying? Right. Or he's so articulate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll ask what a scripture means and they'll go around and then I don't know why it is. I just feel like it's the Lord putting me on the spot because sometimes I don't even raise my hand. I just say, you know me, like I ain't trying to like I'll say something at breath, but like outside of breath, I ain't trying to tell them my name, you know, so because they may know my dad or something, but I just sit there and they'll be looking. You, young man with the Bulls hat. Oh, what do you think this means? So you know, you explain it, and then it's like people coming up to you. Oh, you're so articulate. Oh, oh my gosh, you're so articulate. Oh, you got to come here. We need you. You be a good help to our urban men. Like all I can speak to, and don't get me wrong, I can.
Right.
Yeah.
But the information and the insight and the knowledge goes to anybody. But you only see me as fit to speaking. You see me as beneficial to a niche you need to meet to your tithe payers or offering givers.
Or diversity contract that you may need to fulfill or something. Yeah,
it's hard for me because I can't avoid that. And I don't know if you remember. I know you probably saw him, and I know you because we were talking about him when I was doing the Car Chronicles, right? And I talked about when George Floyd had gotten killed, and so. When stuff like that happens, how come we don't hear Joel Osteen say that that's wrong?
Yeah.
Forget vote Republican all you want to. That's fine. I don't give a damn about that. Right. But that right there, that's wrong.
Right.
How come we don't ever hear Paula White and people like that? You know what I'm saying? Like the people from Oral Roberts camp and stuff like that. Like this.
I give credit Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland did right.
He came out and did.
Yeah.
He came like.
But for the most part, you see what I'm saying. And so for me, it's hard because it's like, okay, we're gonna have that conversation,
right?
But then like the people that think they're doing better than us, because they look at you like they look at us.
Oh, absolutely. We can get into that too. We can get into that.
You may even get it worse.
I do.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't docking you. I'm just telling you. I get it from both sides. Trust me.
I think you a traitor out here.
Oh man,
and so
the worst.
That's crazy.
I've heard some terrible stuff and just let it.
Yeah, so that part kind of made because I actually the last Car Chronicle I did, and I think it was like 20 of them back to back where I was talking about them. It's like, but y'all never speak up. So you don't mind me coming to play an instrument. I can stand up and play the guitar or lead praise and worship or speak to your urban ministry or whatever. But when that happens. We're just gonna hold hands and pray, and we should hold hands and pray.
Yeah, Roche will tell you I go in on social media on all that stuff.
Right, okay.
And he told people like,
I lost a lot.
I've commented sometimes like, dude, you need to chill out. And he's like, nope, They get what they pay for.
Yeah. So I'm gonna speak. I always tell people I speak my truth. I can't speak anybody else's. I can only go off what I see. But it's bad.
It's crazy, man. Like
it's bad.
I've maybe I told this story before, but the first time I remember at least hearing it, we was driving down Perkins or something one time, maybe 7 or some years old, and my mom switched lanes or whatnot, and cut in front of, I guess, teenage white boys. I don't know how old they were, but you know what I'm saying. They turned around, got in front. Oh, they sped up past her, said, "Oh, you nigger bitch" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
At the time I was like, I just heard a big old horn and stuff in my ear. I remember those words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, dang, like for real. It ain't my mom. My mom ain't. She ain't gonna. She pretty soft spoken in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if that was Pops, it would have been a little different if he was in the car or whatever. But
they probably wouldn't have done that if your Pops was in the car driving.
Maybe not. But they
might have, but they not as likely.
Yeah. Because I got a story with Pops. Like, Pops once somebody tried to break in our house back in Raleigh, man, and pulling up. Pops got out the car, got something. He running down the street like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know they had a gun or nothing. He just
that instinct.
Yeah, just that instinct.
But no, if you ever heard it with like, and man, rest in peace, Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
But if you ever heard his dad talk, like his dad had one of those voices.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's booming.
Yeah,
you know
Earl. What's it? Earl.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
like, but
James
deeper
Earl
though,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
but
cool.
deeper than James Earl, like it was real live, like baritone. You know what I'm saying? So like, he could say something passionately sometimes, and if you didn't know him, you would think like, oh, I didn't mean to make him mad, and he's just being
his voice demanded respect.
Just his regular voice.
Yeah, he didn't have to like cuss you out or nothing. He could just hey, and it's like the whole room is gone.
It'll be just like that. So I've seen different stuff, and obviously growing up, I'm a tennis player. Growing up, played D1 college tennis, and so I've been in situations to where I had a lot of the white girls like me because it was different. I had a little swirl in my head at the time. I had the hair. They liked the little stuff like that, but they looked at me like it was different. I'm like, oh, this is our black friend. Like it's different. Like, oh, you're built different than the other people. You know what I'm saying? So been in fights on the tennis court because somebody called me a nigga on the other side of the court, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was at a TSU.
TSU.
You saying the guy,
and also in junior too. Yeah, he was. It was
just a guy from overseas or something like that.
Yeah, he was from like Lithuania, something like that. Some over Germany or something like that. And he called. It was actually one of my teammates.
Right.
But I was playing on the court next to him, and so we heard that was a trigger word. You know what I'm saying? We all threw our rackets and went to the court. Like, what's up? And so I've been, kind of exposed to it. I think everybody. Mostly, if you lived in Raleigh, North Memphis area, you've been pulled over by the cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you had more than 2 or 3 people in your
anywhere
car.
that's not, like, shoot, if you're in Memphis.
Right.
Especially driving through Bartlett, Germantown, Collierville, Cordova back in the day.
Yeah. Everybody has that type of experience with that. And so, but you being kind of on the inside, like Shay said, like, I think you probably seen it from both sides.
Go ahead.
And you probably looked at it as a Judas. You know what I'm saying? Right, not only to your family, but probably to, with some people you say you're a racer, quote unquote. And plus let's say you a stay-at-home dad too. So they, in their mind, they think, oh, so now you just taking orders from such and such. You know what I'm saying? Without, you know what I'm saying? Now you just bound down totally. You know what I mean? So tell us about some of, a little bit your experiences with that as far as seeing it rougher on, kind of your side a little bit.
Well, I mean, you not so much from like, you get it from both sides. Definitely tougher from the white side, but you do get a little bit from the black side pushback too, because they're like, "Oh, you trying to be black? You're trying to do, I'm just being myself." I mean, that's cool that you think that or whatever, but if you think that, you don't know me.
Right.
But you do get that, just like I said, Shayla's friend that time, I didn't know you dated outside your race. You get down like that. I mean, and I've had that go the other way too. Like we just two completely different, like we're not humans or something, something crazy. But I know a lot of people feel that way. I mean, a lot of people do feel that way. But I mean, I've always gotten it, man. I mean, no worse than family. I mean, my father was probably the hardest. I mean, I always liked black girls growing up, but I knew not to do it. I mean, we might, have a one-time date or, mess around or whatever. But I knew not to come home. I mean, I knew that.
Right.
And when I met Shayla, it was just different. And I was like, I was 20 at the time, and I was like, this ain't gonna go away, So
right, yeah.
I just told her, I said, look, this is the way my dad is. She understood. I tried to. I just asked my folks, really, just. I think I said something along the lines of, don't try to tell me what to do. I'm not trying to put it on you, but just let me go. Like, let me be. Like, when I come in and stuff, they'd have a little snicker. My dad would say something or whatever the case may be. It was always something, and it just, it never bothered me, but it was just irritating,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just was.
So you say he was probably like an open racist, you would say?
That's interesting.
More...
Sort of. I mean, to a degree, definitely, more open. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember like my grandparents on my mom's side. I didn't really know my dad's grandparents. He was older. When my dad had me, he was already like 45 years old. So, he would hang out with my mom's folks though. And it would be, my grandfather owned a car lot, and it would be like my dad, my grandfather on my mom's side, and then my mom's brother, my uncle. They'd be telling N-word jokes, and this was just a norm for me. I'm talking about when I was 4 or 5 years old, long as I can remember. Yeah. And then I would be back at home in Raleigh, Egypt, amongst all black kids, pretty much, right? Yeah. And I just never, I never understood it. I just didn't. But I mean, they definitely, when I said earlier, they tried to, put me in that mold or whatever. But I mean, I just.
Well, I got a thought or question, I guess, because since you kind of lived it low, so you say you were pretty small listening to those kind of jokes and stuff like that.
Right.
And so when you transitioned to Raleigh, Egypt, did you automatically have like this thought of what they would be like?
No, because I've been because when you that was when I was in kindergarten, so I didn't really know whatever my pre-K was, and from the whole time I was in school, I never had like whatever image because probably, to be honest with you, I didn't even know what the N-word was. I mean, I just heard N-word jokes. And then as I got older, obviously I figured out what they were talking about. But I never.
Well, to the point that when you realized it, because I know when you were 4 or 5, you may not.
Right.
Just like when I was 7, I knew the N-word was like, okay, this is not a good thing.
It was a taboo.
You mean like how did I feel like when I realized like my parents were racist? Or.
Oh, yeah. And when you came into being around a lot of black people, did what they were saying have an effect on how you felt toward black people?
The opposite. I would say it's the opposite.
So it never caught you. You never you never thought like, dang, well, these people are kind of lame or square, just not who I want to mess with.
No, even from an early age, I like I said before, I never understood it. I was like, I don't understand what they're talking about. Like I really didn't, because I think I brought this up last time. People always say I don't see color. That's silly. Right. We all see color, but how do we react to the color we see? That's really the real question, right? Mm-hmm. And just like you talked about earlier, one of my best man, my best friend, he's real smart, whatever. He's a black guy. He's realtor, bartender. He gets that all the time. It drives him crazy. Oh, you're really smart for you or for a black guy or whatever. And it drives him crazy. Right. But it's just the overall experience for me growing up was very ironic, just in the sense that they had these feelings, but then you stuck me in all black neighborhoods, right?
Parkway Village.
Right. And that's what I grew up. I went to Raleigh, Egypt. I was in 3rd grade. Then I went to Newberry from 3rd to 5th. And then I was at Wooddale. And then I ended up at Bolton, which was a real culture shock at the time when I went in 94. Yeah. So I'll never forget going to Bolton and going into the cafeteria the first day and seeing like segregation in the cafeterias. Like, all the long tables. And it was like 18 white tables, 2 black tables. And there was a courtyard with like a mix of 10 to 15 people. Wow. So it was pretty crazy. Now it got better. It's obviously got a whole lot better, but that's just how it was when I first went there. And then you go to the parking lot and all the racist white people get in their car and they listen to Tupac. I mean, it was crazy, but I mean, it is what it is. Right. So it was wild. I mean,
wearing the X medallions and
yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it was crazy, but it was hard growing up. Yeah. It definitely was, because then I would have my friends and at a young age, I was terrified when my friends would come over that were black. Is my dad going to let the word slip? Because you don't want to talk. How am I supposed to talk about that at 8, 9, 10? Mm-hmm. Then as I got older, I would tell them, hey, look, my dad, hopefully, he won't do that. I'm not like that. It was a thing I had to come off as because it was tough. So, and I mean, it was tough. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm thinking I have a 7-year-old now, so I just thought about like, even if he heard the word now, like, he wouldn't. if somebody called him that, he wouldn't know to take offense to it.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, you know.
Kids don't know. They don't know. Really. You really don't. I remember a quick story, too. That's not off the race thing, but I remember my dad used to say terrible words. The N-word, faggot. Sorry. I mean, he said that when I was younger. And we were at the pool one day. I didn't know what it meant. I was like 7. And he taught me to swim by throwing me in the pool. So he was throwing me, him and one of his buddies after work from the place where I got fired. Another good old boy from this place. They were at the pool at it's Country View now. It used to be called Raleigh Hills in Raleigh.
Okay.
And he threw me in the pool, and as he was throwing me, I said, "You faggot." I had no idea what it meant.
Right.
He took me home and wore me out. Just
repeated it because
and when my mom got home, she was so upset because she was like, he don't even know what the word means, and where did he hear it? Mm-hmm. He thought he was impressing you because, I mean, I couldn't have been but 7 or 8, seriously, if that. And I'll never forget, but I remember even thinking, like, with my mom, she used to always, and I love my mom, but she got a pass because I would always look at, like, well, she's not outwardly doing this and this, but they were married for 27 years. So, you know, I just don't think I could be married to somebody that long if they felt that way, if I didn't have something, you know. And, I mean, I know her dad was that way. And, I mean, I have heard her say some things and do some things not on his level, but, I mean, it was kind of like.
It was funny we had this conversation. You ever seen the movie American History X?
I have for sure many times.
Yeah, we talked about it. Oh, JB.
America what?
I'm going to give you a list of TV shows.
You missed a classic.
American, what you say?
So it's American History X. But Edward Norton, who played in The Italian Job.
Edward Furlong.
Right.
His little brother.
He played in that movie, the first Hulk movie. Not the first Hulk movie, but when they did, he was the Hulk first before they changed it for the MCU.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Fight Club.
No, he was the Incredible Hulk from MCU.
Right. No, I'm saying before they changed it to Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah. Right.
But he was in Fight Club. So anyway, he's the main character. But
you know him if you saw him.
He ends up being like this neo-Nazi guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He ends up going to jail because he curb stomps a guy. He makes a guy bite the curb, and because they tried to breaking his car or something like that.
Yeah.
But the deal was when they flashed back to, like, I think he was seeing a psychologist or something like that, and they were trying to figure out where it came from, and he was talking about how he grew up.
His dad was his dad was a teacher, wasn't he?
No, he was a firefighter. Yeah. His dad was a firefighter. Mm-hmm. But like when they would be at the dinner table, it's like kind of what he was talking about, how like all of his rhetoric would come out at the dinner table. And the irony is, but just like how he said he grew up, you stick me in Raleigh, the irony is you probably firefighting, you shoot, you know, because they're 24 hours on, 24 hours off. You're bunking with black dudes.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? This black dude is holding your ladder. This Hispanic dude is handing you the huddle. So, like, y'all are brothers in arms, but then when you go back home, you're feeling your kid's head. And I want to say, I think the dad died, like, it was a fire in the projects or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, after that kind of pushed him over the edge to become, like, the neo-Nazi guy and everything like that.
He had the tattoo.
With the swastika and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. See, that's when I look at it. Like,
and the brother saved him in prison.
Yeah, it was a black dude that was it Guy Torre or Joe Torre?
Joe Torre.
Yeah, it was Joe. Yeah,
Joe. No, Guy Torre.
Guy Torre.
The little dude. Yeah,
right. That was in Life.
Right.
That went Martin.
I had to check that out.
Yeah,
that's a great movie, man. Great movie. It's sad too, man. The ending's rough.
Because when I see kids, little kids, 7, 8, 9, 10, that are, it's like you got to do your due diligence to teach them that, to ingrain that in their heart, to where now they're feeling. That's why I asked you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how bad it was to where sometimes it's just subconsciously just rub off on you.
It does, but see, the interesting thing is, what if I didn't grow up in an all-black neighborhood?
Right.
And then by the time I started seeing black people, I was 13, 14 years old, like on a regular basis, right?
Right.
I don't know. But I mean, by me seeing, black people early, I never had any preconceived notions that he was, I'm not going to say he was pushing them, but what you just said is true. He worked with people at his job. They probably have no idea that he's that way when he gets home. But when he comes home, it comes out.
Right.
It comes out. Right. And you see it, and it comes out.
Yeah.
So
and that's not the fear, it's just the concern, but just the stuff that a lot of black folks just like, we kind of, we do that little, what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, until you kind of be around somebody on a personal level, like, you just don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, if I'm seeing somebody every week or every Sunday and they coming up, hey, what's going on? Had somebody come up to me on Sunday, hey man, killer chain, man. You know what I'm saying? No, like, okay, okay. You know what I mean? Just like like you try to be so hospitable to where you're coming off as like you trying too hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're trying too hard. So now that make me think like, dang, now you may talk that way when you get behind closed doors or something at home because now you're trying too hard. Because you're not just saying, I respect somebody more. They're saying, what's up? How you doing? Cool. Keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to try to say what you think I want you to say, or hey, or peace, or you know what I'm saying, anything like that, like you know, that was kind of awkward.
Yeah, if it's not you, because one thing I hate, you meet these guys and it's like, you know, like you just know, like they got the Confederate flag on the back seat,
right?
You know what I'm saying, with the Davy Crockett hat, the raccoon tail hat, right? You know what I'm saying? They walk up, "What's up, brother?" And it's like,
You're doing too much.
Like
doing too much.
JB doesn't even do that. You know what I'm saying? Crown doesn't even do that. Like Todd, like that's my Todd don't even do that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And like clearly, you know, you get a kick out of, you know, watching. You probably got one of those photo albums with the little kids watching the lynching going on at your house, but that type of stuff is annoying. But for you, man, like how is it? You know, because you have to have conversations, and we talked about this last time with your kids that you probably didn't have to have or get. So how is it like with you? Because I know you said like they don't even realize, you know, like they just
we live in Lakeland. We live in Lakeland, so
they don't understand. Right. So how is that? You know what I'm saying? Knowing that you have to prepare them for certain things that you as an individual necessarily may not have prepared for, but because you know the way other people think and the perception and stuff like that. Like, how do you prepare them?
Right. And it is very important because I don't know if y'all watch Undisputed and the show that come on before it. The show that come on before it with the guy Nick Wright. I can't think of what it's called.
I know.
He's married. He's married to a black woman.
Yeah, he is.
And a couple years ago, when the George Floyd stuff happened, or somebody else that happened, I can't remember who it was. It might have been the guy Castillo or
Philando Castillo. He was in the car. Right.
And he was talking about his son. He didn't even think about it, because he's married to a black one. His oldest son is, I think, a teenager or something like that. And he was coming home, and he got like this horrible experience with a cop. And he was like, I never even thought to have that conversation with him, right? Because I guess, like you just said, he'd never had it. So I've definitely thought of it. See, and this is, again, too, like with me and Shayla, because she'll be the first one to tell you she don't feel like it's necessary. And especially with
the conversation.
Right, right. But with my son, particularly, he's the oldest, especially with him. But I mean, he's real respectful and stuff like that, anyways. But it would definitely be a time where, you know, when because he's getting ready to start driving, she's already taking him and teaching him and stuff like that. And I mean, you are lying to yourself if you don't think that cops are out here treating certain people differently.
I mean, y'all got nice vehicles too,
right?
So if they pull him over and they see,
and I mean, it's just one of those things where I mean, I'm gonna, you know, prepare him the best I can, and you know, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, that's all I can do, and it's a shame.
You know, whenever you sit down and rebel, if you want, you know, I go in, you know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell him. I am gonna tell him if he is getting put, he needs to call me. Like, put me on the FaceTime or whatever. You know, the cop ain't gonna what's he gonna have a problem with that for? Okay, he's speeding or whatever. Hopefully, he ain't doing nothing like that. But it's a shame, you know. And the sad thing is, all this stuff. You know, we was talking about Will Smith earlier. He had a quote, I guess it was his, I saw it on social media, it might not have been, where he said something about racism didn't just start happening, it just started getting filmed, and that's because of these. Right. That's all. We all got a camera in our hands. So don't think it just started happening when people got, so I mean, this stuff been going on for a long time, so I'm absolutely going to have some type of discussion, and hopefully Shayla will come in with me and have that discussion, even though I know she has said that she feels like it's not necessary. But see, she grew up, like we talked a little bit last time, different than me. She grew up in more white neighborhood than me, you know what I mean? So
them folks lived in those Waverly Plantation.
Davies Plantation.
Yeah, Davies
Plantation.
I was like, I said Waverly Davies. Like, like that was. If you stayed over there, that was excellence. You know what I'm saying? And even like when we was growing up, like her and her sisters, like that was like. We used to joke because it's like, oh, you know, y'all bougie, you know, y'all, you know, we look at they, you know, they eat regular dinner on fine china, like.
And she'll say it too. She'll say it.
Yeah.
Like, she
didn't see anything. She was like, what?
We joke. I mean, we have. See, that's the other dynamic too. We do have a good time being mixed together like that because we can joke amongst one another, right? And somebody offend somebody else. But I think I told y'all last time, like we're at the zoo and we see like a little white kid or something running around with his shoes off on the ground. She's always like, look, you know, or something like that. So. And it's good fun.
Like y'all both said like, cause you said you're more comfortable like you be around black people. You're more comfortable than she is.
Right.
She's more comfortable around white folks.
Absolutely.
You said that
Right,
same dynamic.
Yeah.
Like Crown know we ain't gonna talk about my past, but Crown know who my when I had the ring on my finger. But like I'll never forget. Like I took because she was like I wanted to see where you grew up. So like I took her to Vic. I don't know if you remember the old house in Raleigh we stayed in, but I took her over there. We stayed in Raleigh Trace. I know you know
Raleigh
what they said. We stayed in Trace.
Yeah.
So I took her over there on Walsingham, and she was just like kind of, you know what I'm saying. Then so like we hit the slab and we went to the south. We hit Bellevue, Macklemore, Saxon. When I tell you, because we was gonna go to Four Way, and Four Way is over there by Lemoyne Owen. I know like the soul food spot. So like that's what is that, Mississippi? That runs through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I'm driving, and at the time, like, and I hadn't even actually when I was teaching, that was I ended up teaching back over that way. But so I'm on Bullington, like I'm taking all these little side streets, and when I tell you, like, she tore a chunk out of my arm because like how he's saying like the way Shayla grew up, like she grew up the same way, and it was just she could not believe, and I'm like, for me though. Like, oh, this is where the candy lady was at, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, this gas and communities, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm driving, but she was horrified. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a trip. Do your kids, like, do they take more after you in that, or?
Oh, they mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My last one's my last hope, my little one. She got a little something to her.
She got a little something to her.
But yeah, the first two, I don't know. But I will say, like, when we went to, like, just say we're going to Chuckles, like the comedy club or whatever. She seems more, not nervous, but just more uneasy than me. Like, even when we came to Breath for the first time, she was like, Are you all right? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, what you mean? It was more people in there uncomfortable that I was there than
that's where I first met you.
Yeah, I could tell it was people meeting me there. They was uncomfortable. I wasn't uncomfortable, but they was like, oh,
right.
And that's cool. We did decide we went to Life for a long time, church, because she wanted to. She did that. She wanted the kids to be more diverse church, not an all black or all white. Right. Somehow we ended in Lakeland, but so we went from one side to the other. But
I get it.
But so
JB, your kids, what you think they're more like? Do you think they're more? Where are they taking more? So are they more comfortable in a suburban area or an urban area?
Definitely, I think it's like half and half.
Okay.
I think my girl is like, she don't care. She'll, wherever she at, her and Toby. Okay. Like with EJ, you know what I'm saying? It's a little different. I thought about putting him in football out there in Raleigh Meadows or something like that. Just to let him get a little bit of culture, because it's different for him being there in the Bartlett League.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just for him to be around, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like some disrespect, because certain things I can't. Actually, one story, he tried out for this baseball all-star team, right? Mm-hmm. This T-ball thing, and he was one of the better kids out there, but he didn't make the team. And it was, I had a powwow with the coach because it was, I think it was some undercover stuff going on.
Obvious stuff going on.
It's like, I was like, he was clearly one of the top 8
Some of these
players.
Other kids not even hitting the ball that's not moving.
Yeah.
And EJ home running.
And he was literally like, EJ big, but he could move. He's fast, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he got around the bases good, was hitting the ball and doing that stuff. And so it was a lot of underhand stuff going on, to where the coach was he was up front too. He was just like, basically, all the people that were there, it was a tryout, so to speak, but it was people that were there that already made the team already before they even did it. You know what I'm saying?
They were on the team before they even tried out.
So you know what I mean? So it was just a lot of underhand stuff going on, to where, and I'm interested to see, I'm pretty sure all the team is white. You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
So they got their preference, so they can make whatever rules. But then I had to tell, because he was ready. He knew he was one of the better players. He was like, Dad, I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna help him win. We're gonna win the championship again. Because pretty much all the little league teams he's been on, they didn't win the championship. So he think it's regular that they win the championship wherever they go. So he was just like, he was like, yeah, me and this other dude were talking. Him, the other black dude actually, and I had to, have a conversation with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
How old is he?
7.
Okay.
And
that's one of his first lessons.
Right. And so I told him, he had a little water in his eye when I told him he didn't make the team.
He don't understand.
I told him it wasn't your fault.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, it wasn't your fault. It was some mess going on. You know what I'm saying? I told him I talked to the coach. You know what I'm saying? I got your back on that, whatever. You know, as I told him it wasn't your fault. Did I tell him I didn't get into the whole race thing because I don't think he would maybe understand the dynamic.
He ain't ready, but that's hard.
But I told him it was just some other stuff going on to where just know it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You did what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we good. If you want to play baseball, we're gonna make sure you do that. And so that was kind of his first experience with it because he knew from the get go, he's like, dang, I'm one of the best players out here. I should make the team.
He probably never had a doubt that he wasn't gonna make it.
Nah,
right.
And the coach told me the one that he told me he chose him to be on the team, but they got a board and they chose the other 4 or 5 members chose him not to be on the team for whatever reason.
Right.
And so he was like, so we were going back and forth for a minute, but it was just tough to put that to him because he's really getting a like into baseball and stuff now. So I just, that was my first time being in that position like that. Like, I think I was hurt more than him. You know what I'm saying? I was ready like nigga, like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, and Rachel, she was ready to go down there too. Like, oh, we gonna talk to the bar, da. It's like, Now
Shayla will do that when it comes to the kids because we had a few instances at Lakeland at the school actually. Like, I can't remember exactly what it was. I think when Black History came up, for February they were like, we're not doing it. We're doing all history or something like that. And she actually sent an email or something. I was like, all right.
All right.
See,
that was what Rachel would do. She'll do the same thing. Put a whole little thing out there.
I'm sending this scathing email.
She did too, a couple of them.
Right.
And I think she got some responses from the principal or whatever. But I mean, I wasn't that surprised, to be honest with you, when they said something like that.
Yeah.
So.
My my bonus baby, she fits either way. You know what I'm saying? And
that's good.
When I say bonus, because she doesn't have biologically any of my blood in her, but she kind of fit, and it's crazy because our personalities are like the same almost. But like, Charity, she thinks she's a gangster until she's like around,
right?
Actual gangsters. And so I guess it's because, like, being around, like, my folks and my people and everything like that. Like, so you think like, oh yeah. You're tough over here till you get like, oh yeah, well, we come on. Oh, you tough? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Because she had this phase where she was like the Instagram gangster, you know what I'm saying? Like the TikTok G.
Right.
Like she was the OG Bobby Johnson of TikTok and Snapchat and like, oh, you want to be tough? Like, come on. Yeah. I'm finna drop you off on this corner. I'm finna drop you off on South Parkway in Preston, and we finna see how tough you really are. You know what I'm saying? And shit, no, I don't want to like.
Yeah.
So, but she I don't think she would.
I ain't gonna lie. Some of my kids are too spoiled, bro. Like, they're like, dang, like some of the stuff they say and be complaining about. It's just like sometimes I do want to be like that. Let me drop y'all off at your auntie house out here in North Memphis out here. You know what I'm saying, in Hollywood or something. But it's like, they got a little taste of it. They was over their auntie house, she ain't had no air.
Who's auntie?
Yeah, the other auntie, not mine. Not on my side.
Right.
But they went over there and they ain't had no air.
Okay.
And they was over there for like 6-7 hours. I go over there and pick them up, boy. They ran to me, boy. They ran. They in there sweating, top of the head, you know what I mean? Just like, but it was like, to me, I was like, dang, that's kind of cool now. So now they get to appreciate
air conditioning.
You know what I'm saying? Like from where they at, not just we should have this. We should have 4 TVs in the house. We should have 4 or 5 tablets and stuff like that to play on.
Wi-Fi.
Like, exactly.
Right.
So it's like, no, you go somewhere to where now you just.
That's what melted my kids down.
Sit in another room and just be cool with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you kind of. Oh my gosh! Like I felt the gratitude. They didn't have to say it.
You could see it,
I
feel
could see
it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I say
at the age now where we had a conversation because she called me, for Father's Day. So we're having this, long conversation, and but the way she was talking is like now. I'm not having to force like, okay, I'm dad. You gotta come with me, even though you're gonna. She was actually open to like, I wanna be where you're at. Like I need to be where you're at. And so like it's cool now because like to the flip side, she's kind of always grown up to not you know what I'm saying, having certain things. And like I was always trying, you know, it may not be perfect, but you will have certain stuff. It's like, oh, well, no, I want to be over here. It's fun over here, whatever. I can do whatever I want. But like now it's like you're starting to see a different dynamic. And it's like, okay, I want to see what's up. You know,
how old is she?
Oh, she's the same age as Austin.
Oh, she's 15.
Yeah, she's 15.
Teenager.
See, I would say with mine, my son's 15. He's more like his mom. Valerie, she's 13. She's kind of in between, but probably a little bit more like her mom. And then Zoe, my little one, 9. She's mine.
Oh, you.
Oh, me.
So
no, now Austin like his mom, so you get mad. Then he like the Incredible Todd.
Now, before we shut down, you have any shout outs, anything you want to give Todd? Anything? Other than you already gave shout out to the wife or whatever like that. Okay, but
shout out to the kids. They might watch. I don't know.
Yeah,
probably not.
Shout out to the kids.
But Shayla, Austin, Valerie, and Zoe. That's my crew.
For sure.
So
yeah, man, we appreciate you, bro.
I did want to kick in though. Last time we talked about marriage. I don't know if we could about kick in on that real quick, maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you asked me because we've been married for 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
Right. If I had any advice as to how to, I can't remember exactly what you said.
Yeah. I think I asked you, how do y'all keep it, you know, going or being good for 16 years?
Spark,
right.
Yeah.
Well, she does a good job. We keep dating, so that's what she calls it. So we try to, you know, keep dating each other. Well, with COVID, that kind of shut a lot of things down. But before that, I mean, we try to get out at least a couple times a month to do something without the kids. Without the kids. So we try to do that. Obviously, honesty is imperative no matter what. And I didn't say last, I'm glad we got here because she does pray for me, which is the best thing that she does for us. So, I mean, that is definitely.
I can vouch because I remember one time. We was at, where's that place out on Poplar? The Italian restaurant.
I can't remember, but we saw you. Carrabba's, yeah.
Yeah, we saw each other at Carrabba's, and I was out, this was a couple of years ago, but I was out on a date.
And we came in there and saw
you. know what I'm saying? And they was like, oh, okay, we see you, Shay, good job. You're like, yeah, oh, yeah, no, I do good out here. But they would, like, to his point, they were we try to, dating,
and we do take the kids with us, you know, depending on what it is, but at least they've gotten old enough with my son being 15, you know, Valerie's 13, they can stay at home, you know, for us to go out and have a little bit of our own time or whatever. So
I'm ready for those days.
It's coming, but that's definitely the key is just kind of, you know, still dating each other.
Train them up, man. Like when I was EJ age, you got to remember way Paco and John, like that the difference would be Toby and then where the twins are. Yeah. And I was at home, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it was intentional. Like I was at home and I had Paco and I had Bird. And they were the same distance the way EJ and Toby are and the way the twins are from EJ.
It's coming, but it ain't right now though.
You got man.
I ain't got no trust in no folks at this point.
Real quick, you were talking to me earlier about being a stay-at-home dad. I'll never forget. Austin was 2, and he was potty trained pretty quick. Like he got pretty quick, and right after here she came, we had more diapers. I was so upset. I know it's terrible to say, but I mean, because he was just coming out, right, changing diapers. And I mean, I was a pro. Like I never thought when I first started doing it, but you know, once you start doing it over and over and over, and I'm at home all the time, you in and out, man. Yeah. And then here she came. I was like, dang, more diapers, man. Yeah. But that's all good.
Like I said, and I give respect to it. Like I said, my dad was a stay-at-home dad for about first 4 or 5 years of my life. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they missed their mama. Yeah. When she first leave, when they were when they was babies.
I can imagine,
it was terrible, man. I was like, please let me go work for $8 an hour. Whatever, let me go.
And I can actually see you coming through for some rundowns sometimes where we have certain
let's do it. I love the sports, man.
Like that. So we can get him in. So he can maybe be on the Valley Road, maybe like
man, a friend of the show.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Come back and see what's up.
Because it technically is the second time. Even though it's not the second time,
although
for the viewing audience, it's not the second time.
You don't know that, but I know. But yeah, and Vic knows it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's say Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Right. So y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset,
and most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.